Budget hearings are underway in Harrisburg as state lawmakers hash out the governor's proposal and the services the state provides. Today's hearing in the state Senate focused on health and human services, and Fox 43's James Corrigan tells us how looming cuts to Medicaid and SNAP are impacting how much of our taxpayer dollars may be spent.
The cost to administer SNAP and Medicaid in Pennsylvania will increase, and new work requirements for SNAP have already led to thousands being removed from the program.
Since June 1st, what we have seen in total is about 89,000 individuals lose access to SNAP.
Human Services Secretary Val Arkoosh laid out her department's response to federal changes as she was questioned by the state Senate Appropriations Committee at its budget hearing. Governor Shapiro's proposed budget includes roughly $1 billion in new spending to fund Medicaid. Arkoosh says that a combination of new administrative costs and SNAP enrollment makes new investment necessary.
Worst case scenario, starting in 2028, we'll begin to see what would total up over the next decade $20 billion of cuts.
The spending number drew the attention of committee chairman Scott Martin, who noted that the projected $200 million annual increase of spending over 5 years is far lower than the $900 million average increase over the last 12 years.
So increasing the 26-27 budget request by the actual average increase instead of the unrealistic $200 million, we're left with a $7 billion hole over those planning years.
Arkoosh says uncertainty over federal cuts is the reason for the conservative number. The funding of rural hospitals was also a topic. Arkoosh says many of the Medicaid cuts will fall on those hospitals in a way the state cannot cover.
If H.R. 1 is not mitigated in some way, it will be quite difficult for us to backfill these levels of cuts.
The hearing sets up the budget battle to come on how Pennsylvania can backfill federal social programs for millions, potentially risking its own fiscal standing in the process.
There's another turnaround to say we need another $1.6 billion, whatever the number is. You can understand why that causes a lot of budget heartburn and doesn't truly reflect the Commonwealth's fiscal direction.
James Corrigan, Fox 43 News.